Alright, let's talk blades because that's what we're into. Have you ever wanted a knife that's reminiscent to a custom made knife, but you just don't have the money for it? Because custom made knives are hell of expensive. What I got for you today is the CRKT Fossil. And guess what? This Fossil doesn't cost as much as one. Here it is at $39.74 on Amazon, and if you got Prime, you can get it pretty quickly. This knife in particular, I bought at Walmart. Yes, I bought this knife at Walmart. I actually bought two of them. That's how much I liked this knife. I like it so much because it's, well, for one, it's different. Two, it's a big knife. Three, it's very, to me, I like it. It looks nice. It looks different. It's out of the norm. And the second one I actually gave to my dad because I liked it that much. I wanted him to have one because it was just such a cool knife. It's really appealing, visually appealing to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe because it just looks like an old knife, but it just looks different than, I don't know. It's hard to explain. So here it is. Got to put this on. Excuse me. I'm in the channel now. Here it is. And yes, that is G10. It looks kind of like a rocky type texture. A G10 over stainless steel liners. And these liners aren't really liners. They're actually scales too. So they act as liners and scales. Very interesting pocket clip. I never had this catch on anything. I used to carry it a lot too. Very beautiful in my opinion. It's a full-size knife with a flipper tab. And it's got the IKBS ball bearing system, which is also something I'm very much. The Ikoma design for the ball bearing systems, so it's really nice. This sports an 8CR13 MOV steel blade, and it's just one of those really affordable knives. When you hold it, it just feels great. It really does. You get you got a little bit of jimping right there. I like that, and a little bit of jimping right there. So you got that much going on. Huge hole right here. I'm not entirely sure why that is, unless you want to use that for deployment. Which, hey, you could if you really wanted to, but I find the flipper to be more just better in my general opinion. So let's go into specs for this thing. I want you guys to see this. But yes, that is G10 overlays right there. See that patterned, and then you got that hammered handle scales right there. It kind of gives it that almost like an old look, worn. Looking at 6 ounces even. All right. So not really a light knife, not really a heavy knife, but I guess that all really just depends on your own preference and taste, really, if you care or not. 4-inch blade with an overall 8 7/8. We'll just say 9 inches. Overall 9 inches. And it is a liner lock. Steel with throughout, and then of course we'll go into the wideness of it. So you're looking at 15.3 on the handle, and on the blade you're looking at 3.4. So yeah, the Fossil. Okay. This is just one of those knives that is great to have in the collection, simply because it just looks really pretty. It's just, to me anyways, it's different, it's interesting, and CRKT knows how to catch my attention in that way. They always do. They come out with very new and interesting stuff all the time, and I always bite down. I always do. I can't help it. It's just, I don't know. They're really starting to really catch my attention with everything now that they're coming out with, and it just, to me, it's really good. So yeah, $40 knife, and it's tasty. It's very tasty. One of my buddies, I handed it to him, and he looked at it, and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna give me a rock," because he saw I handed it to him like this, and he was like, "What the heck is that?" All he saw was the G10, and he took it from me and he looked at it and he was like, "God, man, this thing is pretty and ugly at the same time." He goes, "More pretty than ugly," but I was like, "Why do you say ugly?" He goes, "Because look at it. It looks like you dropped it down a flight of stairs." And it kind of does because of all the dings, you know, but that's part of the appeal. That's part of the design. It just looks really nice. To me, anyways, I like that look. It looks, and and you got a full blade right there. I mean, and then the handle just feels good. It just feels really, really good. It really does. So, yeah, we'll go into, I want to show you guys how this thing cuts. It's still pretty sharp. We got some weird string right there. If I can get that in the shot. Yeah, right through it, no problem whatsoever. Like it wasn't even there. String? What string? Alright, and then I'll bust out the weird paper because I got a whole stack and I keep using the same one. See how sharp it is. And that's factory edge, guys. Factory edge, and it is. Cuts through like butter. Look at that. That's knife. That's knife. That's nice. It just literally just shaves through paper. Shaves through it. In my general opinion, this is just one of those knives that I wouldn't EDC all the time. And if you don't know what that means, EDC means everyday carry. This is big, this is bulky, but I like it. I really do like it. It's one of those kind of occasional knives that you would just bust out, drop it in the pocket. You bust it out and you show everybody, like, "Hey, look what I got." And they're like, "Whoa," you know, "Hey, that looks nice," or "Hey, that looks ugly," or whatever. It works, whatever. When I bought it at Walmart, it came in like a clamshell kind of packaging, CRKT on it. But that's the thing. I mean, I like my CRKTs. They're good. They're good collectible knives. You know, they're just that type of knife where you can't just settle for any normal type knife. You need something that's out of the blue, something that isn't always ordinary. And this is just one of those types. So can't really say anything too bad about it other than the fact that it does weigh a little bit more than I'd like it to. And overall, I think that this is the kind of knife that has a certain type of appeal to it. Either you like it or you don't. They have a half serrated version if you want that, and they also have it to where they have instead of this weird brown and black kind of G10 overlay, it actually has just a black and gray G10 overlay, and I kind of wanted that one, but that's as far as different as I've seen it go. But I mean, I guess it's all depending on you. When I first saw it, I thought it was a little on the ugly side, but the closer I approached it and the more I kind of looked at it, I was like, you know what? It has kind of a different type of appeal to it. It's hard to explain. Very hard to explain. I'm still carrying the BT Fighter. If you guys are curious as to what I'm carrying, this is what I'm carrying right now. The CRKT BT Fighter. So, you know, let's do a little bit of a size compare. I know that the Fossil has a longer blade, but I gotta tell you, it's only longer by just a little bit. If you can see, just a little bit. So the BT Fighter is still something I want to carry for the time, because I've already had my time carrying this Fossil. And the pivot actually loosened up on me. It made it to where it moved back and forth. So I had to kind of tighten the pivot a little bit, and that went away. So I just tightened it a little bit, and it's still smooth as butter because of the fact that it has the IKBS ball bearing system. So tightening the pivot only straightened it out and made it stronger, but it's still buttery smooth on opening, which is that ball bearing system that I've kind of fallen in love with, that Fossil. ball bearing, IKBS ball bearing system. So, yeah, if you're looking for a knife that looks kind of like a custom-made knife but really isn't, I mean, that's the best way I can describe this thing, this might be for you. Otherwise, maybe you just want it for the collection, if you're a collector like me. Thanks a bunch. If you haven't already, slash that like button and stab that subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.